What's up everybody, welcome to my PvP guide for Frost Death Knight in patch 7.3, and today we're going to be going over best talents, best honor talents, and also best team setup for your Frost DK in Arena. And I'm also going to be showing you two really fun PvP builds that I've been using this season to push rating on my Frost Death Knight. And I've actually had a lot of success with my Frost DK this season because obviously, you know, they're a little bit overpowered and they do a lot of damage. And right now we are pushing our way in a 2's bracket almost into 2200. So, and the really weird thing is that I'm actually not even trying to push rating, guys. Like, every season I pretty much just try to push 2k rating just to get the elite set, which I've gotten the elite set for my Death Knight for season 1 and season 2 in Legion, and season 3 and season 4. And I really wanted to get them because they look absolutely amazing. So today we're going to be going over a lot of stuff, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to be showing you two really fun PvP builds that I've been using this season. And right now, like I said, we're sitting at about 2100 rating in a 2v2 bracket, and these two builds have really helped me a lot. So the first one is kind of like a consistency build. So for this one we're going to be taking Icy Talons for our first tier. Our second tier we're going to be going with Freezing Fog, although it is a little bit of a toss-up between that and Murderous Efficiency. I've tested them both out and they're about the same, guys. It kind of depends on your playstyle. For the third tier we're going to be going with Ice Cap, because one thing I really like about this consistency build is that, well, it's very unpredictable. As you guys know, when Frost Death Knights have their Pillar of Frost up, they are doing a lot of damage. And with Ice Cap, every time you crit with, you know, Frost Strikes and you know, Obliterate, it reduces the cooldown on Pillar of Frost. So pretty much what happens is that a lot of the times when we're bursting, you know, we cause a lot of defensive cooldowns to be used by the enemy team. And with this ability, with Ice Cap, it makes it very unpredictable for their team to time their defensive cooldowns. So we're always a step ahead of them. So it's really nice. Next year we're going to be going with, of course, Winter is Coming, because, you know, the AoE stun is really awesome for players that, you know, clump up together. It's a really nice CC chain, and of course it works awesome with Ice Cap and Pillar of Frost. Next year we're going to be going with here it really is going to be depending on what you face. So if you're going to be facing like a Spell Cleave, then you want to go with, you know, Volatile Shielding. If you're going to be facing a Melee Cleave team and you know that you're going to get trained down, then you definitely want to go with like Permafrost. And of course, lastly, Inexorable Assault is a talent that's really awesome if you think you're going to get kited a lot. And believe me, as a Frost Death Knight, you are going to get kited a lot, guys. So it's very situational. For me, Inexorable Assault I mostly just use against teams like Demon Hunter, Resto Druid, for example, that can get away from me really easily. This pretty much punishes them for kiting me, so it's really nice. Alright, now for this next tier we're going to be taking Gathering Storm, because it increases the damage on Remorseless Winter whenever we spend runes. Pretty much we do a lot of as a Frost Death Knight. And then lastly, or for our last tier, we're going to be taking Obliteration. So that is a consistency build pretty much in a nutshell, guys. It's all about doing consistent damage to the enemy team. And most of the time I found that this build eventually just wears down the enemy team until they have no defensive cooldowns. And eventually you just win. Now for this next build, this is more of a bursty build, I like to call it. So for this one we're going to be taking Shattering Strikes in the first tier. Second tier, again, it's kind of a toss-up, Freezing Fog or Murderous Efficiency. I personally like Freezing Fog with this bursty build because you want to be doing a lot of burst damage. Next here we're going to be going with Avalanche, only because Glacial Advance is just so bad, guys, in PvP. I don't know what else to say. So we're going to be taking Avalanche for the AoE cleave damage. Winter is Coming is still going to be the best choice in this tier. Next tier, of course, again, it's all about what you're going to be facing, you know. Volatile Shielding, Permafrost, you know, for melee cleaves, Inexorable Assault if you're getting kited. Next tier, Gathering Storm once again, no brainer. And then lastly, for our last tier, we're going to be taking Hungering Rune Weapon. And the reason why we're taking Hungering Rune Weapon is because, well, again, this is a really bursty build. And Hungering Rune Weapon really helps with that, guys, because when it's up, it feeds you, you know, runes, it feeds you runic power. In addition to that, it gives you a really nice haste buff for 12 seconds. Alright guys, so now let's talk about honor talents. And honor talents are actually really important. They're just as important as having a really, you know, good PvP build, like the two that I showed you. So for this first row, it really is going to depend. You have a choice between a trinket, which has a 2-minute cooldown, adaptation, which is a automatic trinket with a 1-minute cooldown, and relentless, which reduces CC on you for or basically by 20%. They're all really good, guys. I've been experimenting with all of them, and me being a human Death Knight, I really like adaptation unless it's a rogue team. Obviously they can sap it now, so you don't want to be taking adaptation against a rogue team. You basically either want to take relentless or basically just go with the trinket, but do not take adaptation. Next here you have a choice between hardiness, reinforced armor, and sparring, and these are all really good in their own way. So here's how I use them. So hardiness is really good to take against spell cleaves, and the reason being is that basically you're taking 20% less damage when you're above 80% HP. And you're probably gonna say, well, that's doesn't sound that great, but actually I found that it is, guys. Against spell cleaves, it definitely is. Having as a Death Knight, spell cleaves are probably gonna be one of the worst comps to face, because most of the time if they have a mage on it, they're gonna kite you while DPSing you down. And you know, reinforced armor, yeah, 10% armor, you know, 10% HP is kind of nice, but if you think about it, they can get rid of that in about a global or two. And then sparring is what you want to take against melee cleaves. If you're going up against, you know, like turbo cleave that does a lot of melee damage to you, obviously you want, you know, you want to take sparring. Next, we basically just have two choices. We have Dark Simulacrum or Anti-Magic Zone. Dark Simulacrum is really awesome, I found, against teams that you know you can spell steal important things like sheeps, clones, hodges. Anti-Magic Zone is good against spell heavy teams like, you know, Destro Lock, Shadow Priest, you know, Mage, Elemental Shaman, you know, basically anything that does a lot of spell damage. Those are your two choices basically. Next here we have Decomposing Aura, we have Heartstop Aura, and we have Necrotic Aura. And after testing these so much this expansion, guys, I really just found that it's all about your playstyle. Like, Decomposing Aura is really awesome to dampen the enemy team. You know, Heartstop Aura is awesome for disrupting the enemy team's cooldowns, making your cooldowns go up by 20%. You know, important things like, you know, Bloodlust and Heroism, you know, Pillar of Frost, you know, basically if you want to kind of mess up a team's timing, then you want to go with like Heartstop Aura. And Necrotic Aura is pretty straightforward. You just increases your magic damage done by 8%. Next here is Death Chill, Frozen Center, or Delirium, and I found that these are all really good in their own ways, guys. So it just depends on your playstyle. Death Chill is really good because of the root, and also because when you grip somebody in, it automatically roots them down. So it's really good for, you know, gripping in a healer and then stunning them. You know, if you're playing with like a warrior or a demon hunter. Frozen Center is really good against teams that stack up a lot. And Delirium is really good, mostly in 2s for teams that you know are going to be able to get away from you a lot. Delirium is awesome. Lastly, again, pretty much only have 2 choices. You can go with Thunderstalker, which increases your damage of your Frost Strike ability, and Overpowered Rune Weapon. And basically, if you're going to be taking Hungry and Rune Weapon, then you want to take Overpowered Rune Weapon. If not, if you're going to be going with like a consistency build, then you basically just want to take Thunderstalker. And that's basically the honor talents in a nutshell, guys. That's how I use honor talents anyway. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, share. I definitely appreciate it. Also, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.